Welcome to Pay It Forward, a podcast by JP Morgan Payments for JP Morgan Payments. Get to know our business and gain a better understanding of where we sit at the intersection of technology and finance. Did you know we move nearly $10 trillion globally each day through over 170 countries and 120 currencies at more than 5,000 transactions per second? Join us as we take you inside the stories, technology, and people that make it all happen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Schwartz, Global Head of Treasury Services at JP Morgan Payments, and your host for today's episode. Here with me today to dive into the exciting world of movie production is our guest, Brooke Tilton-Foley, Vice President of Treasury Operations at Paramount. Thanks for joining us, Brooke.
Thanks for having me, Lori. I'm excited to be here.
For those that may not be aware, Paramount Pictures has produced some of the most iconic films of the 20th and 21st centuries, including The Godfather, Titanic, and my personal favorite, Mean Girls.
I love it too.
In 2023 alone, Paramount's films generated $2 billion at the global box office and delivered 5 number one debuts at the domestic box office. Super impressive. In our discussion today, we'll cover how payments drive global movie funding and streamline the financial processes of production, distribution, and box office success. So let's dive in. Film production has some unique attributes. Can you walk us through the production workflow specifically and when it interacts with banking services and specifically payments?
Yeah, so film production, while super exciting, brings challenges to a typical cash management process. Unlike other businesses, we aren't in one location very long. Think about it. If you're watching Mission Impossible, you see them go to Dubai, jump up a building there, then they go to Italy and run around Venice, Morocco, and Norway. Film crews are on site in all of these locations, all within a short time period. We need to have payment systems, accounts, petty cash facilities, and liquidity ready to support filming anywhere in the world. It's all about problem solving. Some of your more experienced treasury people listening to this may have crossed their eyes when I said we use petty cash, but that's another unique aspect of the film production business. It's still reliant on cash, and in the U.S., gasp, checks. So our vendors range from small businesses, think catering and costume rentals, to large video production facilities. So we need to be able to pay them all in the way they want to be paid.
That's super important, right? Pay them in the way they want to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
All over the world, in all the unique places that you film, making payments by all different payment mechanisms all over the world, all different currencies. I would imagine that when you're choosing a banking provider, it's a pretty important relationship you're investing in.
It absolutely is.
Can you talk a bit about the important attributes that you consider?
Yeah, I think there are really two main differentiators among banks from a treasury perspective. First and bottom line, payments need to be in a highly controlled and reliable environment. Without that, we can't operate.
Safety first.
Yes. And that's really supported by the bank's technology, which it has to be able to meet our needs. And we have a lot of needs as production people. So as the teams are filming in different locations, it's important to have consistent technology platforms so they don't have to learn new systems, make up new passwords, get new soft tokens, and learn a new portal at each location they go to. Our teams need to be able to seamlessly pay in multiple currencies, again, meeting our vendors where they are and maintaining those vendor relationships. And in the film industry, approvers aren't always sitting at a desk. They can be anywhere. We need to be able to approve payments remotely and on the go. And last, these payments and transactions, they need to be reported, administered, and monitored centrally. So Treasury, my team, can ensure liquidity, controls, and manage the FX hedging process. The other big differentiator is the bank's ability to get bank accounts open quickly. We have a very short time between green light and people being on location who need to make payments immediately. We can't wait a month for an account to be operational. This is where our strong banking partnerships come into play.
Speed matters 100%. So you spoke a bit about some of the differentiators that go into your mind and your team's mind when picking a banking provider. Now I dare ask, how is JP Morgan stacking up?
Well, first of all, the account access platform is easy to use and easy to administer. Treasury, my team, can centrally implement controls like dual approvals and reset passwords. Teams can make payments in 120 currencies wherever they are using a single platform, a single password, and a single token. JP Morgan is regularly asking for the voice of the customer to improve this access platform. This is evident in the changes and updates you're making. I can see it happen. As I suggest something, I see it move into production, which is amazing from my point of view, from being the customer. And JP Morgan is above all streamlined the KYC and account opening process. This is very important because without that bank account, the territory and currency I need, we can't even begin to fill. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of work we can still do, but JP Morgan is a leader in this area. And last, it's all about relationships. Our support teams at JP Morgan are outstanding. They make my job easier because they just get things done.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. And I will make a personal note of positive feedback on a KYC process brings us no short amount of joy. But you touched on something that is increasingly important, I think, collectively, right? For us as financial services providers, for Paramount and other companies as users, which is co-development, right? We're very clear on where we are today, but the future is coming and even many ways, even quicker than we've been used to it in the past. So as we think forward to those future trends, how do you foresee those coming to life in the entertainment finance space?
So honestly, anything that allows us to pay vendors faster without impacting daily liquidity would improve our relationship with our vendors. We need to be able to pay some people like the caterers and the hairdressers and the customers quickly and still manage to have liquidity in our bank accounts. I would also love to see the adoption in the US of electronic payments and the elimination of cash. Most of us use Zelle and Venmo in our personal lives. So I think as a culture, people are getting more comfortable with sending and receiving these types of payments. Internationally, we pay almost entirely electronically. But in the US, it's still a real cultural issue. There's some fintechs that are solving the problem for us today and trying to change the status quo. But I think changing that paper mentality and offering a secure, customer-focused payment solution is really the future.
The progression from cash and check to electronic is something we've been on a mission for some time. And I think the cultural trends you referred to are absolutely at the fore. So fingers crossed for the way forward. But you've got the audience of the entire JP Morgan payments community. What solutions beyond what you kind of talked us through already will enhance the payment processes for you in particular? And how can we continue to make your future productions even more streamlined?
I think that really JP Morgan partnering with us and our customers to get them on board with these platforms and these payment mechanisms that we can pay people electronically in the US is really the future. And we can't do it alone. And it's a cultural shift in our industry.
That's a great point. Customer adoption and driving the industry. We can do it together.
Yes.
Fantastic. Brooke, for our listeners who may not be as familiar, could you tell us a little bit about your role and what it entails?
Sure. I don't think anyone grows up and goes to college and wants to work in Treasury. Most of us just fall into the role and stay because we love the challenges. I've been with Paramount Global for 26 years, moving into the Treasury team in 2006 when the company split into CBS and Viacom. In 2020, the companies came back together and we had to transform the Treasury Operations team. For the entire time I've been there, I've supported Paramount Pictures business unit and the unique requirements of location filmmaking in addition to our TV studios. The day-to-day of a Treasury Operations person is problem solving to make sure everything, especially payments, runs smoothly. We have to ensure liquidity, operational readiness of bank accounts, and that the tech can support the business.
I love that. Problem solving. It's its own version of being a superhero.
Maybe it'll give me a cape.
We'll work on that one. So Brooke, fantastic insights into your role within Treasury Operations. Turning to a bit more of the softer side of things, you're clearly a female in the industry that's accomplished a lot. Can you talk to us a bit about how you pay that forward, your approach to diversity within the workplace and cultivating female talent?
Yeah, I think that when I started out in finance and treasury, I said yes to everything. Somebody needed something done. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do this. And while it gave me a great wealth of experience and knowledge, and I met a lot of really smart, interesting, wonderful people to work with, it was a lot. And I think that at some point in your career, working hard isn't as important as the people that you know, the relationships that you build, and really having that mentorship up and down. I think it's just as important to have mentees and people that you're talking to coming up through the organization to learn from as it is to have somebody mentor you. So that's really my recommendation. Absolutely say yes to everything, but understand that you need to have sponsors and mentors as well.
I love that. It is a people business at the end of the day, and being able to both embrace that relationship as a mentee and then ultimately becoming a mentor is a fantastic thing to do. So now, probably the most important question we will have asked today, what is your favorite movie of all time?
I remember being allowed to stay up late and snuggling in my strawberry shortcake sleeping bag in the family room shag carpet and watching The Wizard of Oz each year. It was only on once a year then, so it wasn't like I could watch it at any time I want, like I can now. So that has to be it. But I also think as an adult and, a woman in finance, that the message behind it is really important. You already have the courage and the brains and the heart to achieve your dreams. You just have to learn to rely on yourself.
I love that. And the ruby slippers.
As long as you have good shoes, right?
You can conquer the world with good shoes and focus.
What is your favorite movie? Sorry, I popped that on you.
I don't know. I have a good one. So I'm going to stick with Mean Girls.
Okay.
For a variety of other different reasons. Well, this has been super fun, very insightful. Thank you so much for joining us today, Brooke.
Thank you for having me. I had fun.
Thank you for tuning in to Pay It Forward, a podcast by JP Morgan Payments for JP Morgan Payments. Stay up to date on the latest stories, technology, and people powering payments by subscribing on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Keep pushing boundaries, and we'll keep moving the payments world forward, one transaction at a time.